welcome back to another episode of JP and the Beanstalk.
You bet. There's a great energy in the gym. We're back. We're in the triple digit realm, and we're here to get knives out. Let's do it. Let's cut some things.
We have a present.
Right? We've got some. Oh my gosh, that's right. There's a freaking gift. And no, we did not get this gift to give to ourselves.
But if you guys want to get us gifts, I will make a P.O. box for that.
I think we could legitimately say that with some reasonable screening process, if anybody sends us a gift, we will honor the commitment to open it on air.
Yes.
Just don't send something gross.
I feel like we need a P.O. box for that. I don't want to give out our addresses.
Okay.
So we need to find a box
or make that investment.
Or a cave.
What if we give a different person's address? You know, not even a P.O. box.
Sexy.
Right?
I like it.
This comes from two, Saul and Dylan.
They paired up, didn't they?
Rascals. Bless you. All right. So for those of you not utilizing the visual medium, there's a little bit of blue paper. It's gone. There's a back from the assist. There's a box. Oh my gosh.
It says Funko.
It says Funko. Funk you. Funk me. Funko.
Yes.
I see what we have in there.
Pop yourself.
Pop yourself.
Oh.
The opportunities are really just endless.
So I have theories. It'd be really funny if it was like
Professor Xavier.
Well, that was one thing. Mine was probably inappropriate.
Could be.
Oh, all right.
There's a box within a box. I don't think that box said
that was aggressive.
You're fine. It was a good toss.
All right.
Box is on the ground.
You look at it.
Yes. Come on. It's a personalized Riley and Jordan.
I love
Funko Pop. You dogs.
You bastards.
Incredible.
You made me bald. I have hair still. I am bald, dude.
This looks incredible.
Great
What
ginger.
a dime. There's some gingerness in there. I'm going to wear that. Look at this.
You
And in sandals? That's great. Oh my gosh. Grilling tongs?
I will say the beard looks good.
You rascals.
And,
it does.
And the indie hat looks good. But I am...
Shaved head. You're shaved headed. That's not a bald man. That's a man who's chosen to shave your head.
That's bald.
Which incidentally would be a great look for you.
No,
Break it out this summer.
No, I don't
it would
think
be
so.
fantastic.
I got to hold on to what I got.
You guys are right. This is amazing. Guys, well done. Mr. Funko JP is going right
I am
there.
jacked, though.
I'm
Can we talk
genuinely
about that? Like, I am...
Look at that. You're shirtless.
I am yoked.
I think you should
I'm
be
100% yoked.
You should be really happy about
And
this.
I got the J's on.
And is this...
These are Jordans, dude.
And is this not a Indiana Jones hat?
It's got to be.
That you're holding right there?
Yes, I am.
Has to be.
Because I am
Has to
Harrison
be.
Ford's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and those
Lost
glasses
grandson.
the glasses are good, too. Those are on there.
You fellas have outdone yourselves. Well done. Thank you for the mighty gift. Incredible stuff. I don't know if I've ever been more honored by the thought that's been put into gift by someone who I'm not married to. So really high praise.
You sons of bitches. I'm going to remember
really
the bald
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
My vengeance will strike. No, I'm kidding. It was good.
Too thoughtful. Really too cool.
Maybe it's bald because of the hat.
I don't understand why I feel truly humbled. I don't understand why I receive such great gifts. Like, this is phenomenal. Thinking of when heard my guy Eric hooked me up with the Optimus Prime Lego set, and he has provided so many other great gifts. What a joy. This is right up there in the echelon of wonderful, mighty gifts. Well done, fellas. Pretty toit right there. It's really cool. That's really freaking cool.
Yeah, he can hang out by you.
Yes, as he should.
Although I gotta say, I got more swagger.
There is no doubt.
I got some more swagger.
You're still in that single guy swagger stage. I am fully in the t-shirt, cargo short, sandals, and let's grill some meat.
Yeah, and the flip-flops.
Let's do it.
The flip-flops are telling.
Oh, I love it.
How did the toes come out? Honestly, I don't see a lot of toes. Toes look good.
They do look fantastic.
Look at that.
That's exquisite right there.
Look at that.
I'll live it. Boys, thank you. Well done.
Yes, you did good. I'm going to just say that I was bald by accident, so.
Okay. There you go. Whatever you have to say. Absolutely.
It's fine. I'm good. It's good.
The last thing I'm going to say on that front is it would be such a heavy metal look if you went shaved dome, full beard.
No, see.
Mm-hmm.
My producer's going to have to pick that up later.
I'll make a promise to you. Here you go.
No,
On
this
the
is a
pod.
trap.
No. This is not a trap. This is sincere. If you do it, I will do it with you. I will also shave
already
the head.
do it, though. You've done it before.
I'll shave it. I'll just shave it. It'll just be gone. I will. Now, am I going to keep it that way? No. But the initial, when you take the plunge, I'll be right there with you.
I don't know. I'm weird about my hair, man.
It's right there with you. Right there with you. Well, it's going to be pretty dang hard to top that. So we're not going to try, but we are going to try to hit the bar that has been raised so doggone high. Here's what is great about today's episode. For the first time in what has been a substantial amount of time, we have a hearty Iowa State Fair turkey leg worth of meat on a bone.
I was wondering
to
where you're
digest.
going. I'm on board.
Always hungry, always thinking about the Iowa State turkey legs.
One of those. That
They're
sounds
incredible.
good. I don't think I've had one.
Also, it's worth noting that no longer happens, but once upon a time, as a matter of fact, for decades, there was a vendor outside of Kinnick Stadium at Iowa football games who would sell turkey legs, but his marketing ploy was to call them big-ass turkey legs, which you think that's not really that clever, except it was this substantially sized man, okay, who would just bellow out for hours. And this is, again, out of doors. Big-ass turkey leg. Come get your big-ass turkey leg.
I already picture the guy in my head.
And it was just like a siren call right to my meat-loving heart. And I never once regretted going to his stand, greeting him with, I don't think he was ever really open for a hug, but I would have hugged him and then just taken the turkey leg and just gone for it.
I get it.
It was fantastic. Yeah. So we have some wonderful, wonderful, juicy meats to discuss in the form of Daredevil Born Again, which just wrapped earlier this week. We have been impatiently waiting to discuss and break down this show. So we're going to get into it. That is the show today. Now, we will also discuss the Fantastic Four First Steps full-length trailer that dropped earlier today, as a matter of fact, as of today's recording. So that's going to be great to touch base on.
There's Spider-Man movie news.
That's right. We have a little Spider-Man movie news to get into. Thunderbolts is on the horizon. We won't get too far in depth there, but we will point out one really exciting piece of news as it pertains to Thunderbolts. And of course, a classic, JP and the Beans.
I'm with you.
There you go. JP and the Beans, top 5 to wrap the episode. So without further ado, let's pop ourselves. Let's get into Daredevil Born Again. Beans, talk to me. What are your takeaways just right out of the gate?
Man, I'm about to say, where do we even start?
There's a lot.
Where do we
there
even start?
9 good-sized episodes. I mean, let's start here. I'm going to start with an appreciation. I appreciate that out of the 9 episodes, not a single one was less than 40 minutes long. We went as long as an hour runtime for a couple of those episodes. We went as low as 42 minutes. That's a healthy range. So kudos to the showrunners. And I will also say that there was a minimum of fluff, of empty time. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to be without critiques for this particular season. But overall, tip the cap. They did a great job of filling out 9 quality episodes.
Agreed.
So let's start it there. Just give me your broad takeaways, and then we'll get into some positives, some negatives, some questions that we have coming out of what is essentially season 1 of 2 of this refreshed, not really rebooted, because that wouldn't be accurate. So refreshed Daredevil. Where you at?
Well, I think for the series overall, we start off real strong.
My gosh.
That first 5 minutes, probably 5-10 minutes.
Yep.
Probably 5 minutes.
Right.
Woof, sets the tone.
Goodness.
And then it kind of is a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
Slow burn on the way down, and then we go right back up.
Yep.
They finish strong.
Quite the bookends.
They finish strong, which we'll get into the endings stuff later.
Indeed.
Because I think that's honestly where the most meat is on the bone. Here's
Totally
where
agree.
we go next.
Yep.
Overall, it was solid.
Yep.
It's solid. Look,
Yep.
I wanted more Daredevil.
Yep.
And I wanted more Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't really get full Kingpin until towards the end. Same with Daredevil.
Sure.
They were both on their hiatuses as they tried to rediscover themselves. And it turns out They always go back to where they need to be.
Yeah.
So I will say, I'll just get into the negatives with that, I guess, because we talked about how the fact we had a lull.
Yep.
I think the other negative takeaway here is Muse was kind of there.
Yeah.
That one, I felt like they burned that candle real quick.
Yep. Very short wick.
Which was a bummer because this dude was cool. Mm-hmm. They started building him up, especially in his final scene, in his final episode, where it's like, oh yeah, this dude just was trained by a master Taekwondo guy, which, by the way, is comics. That's the most comic book thing I've ever heard.
100%.
Be like, oh yeah, this dude just knows Taekwondo.
Exceptionally well.
Yes. Exactly. I just was like, his end was such a bummer because I wanted to see more of him. Right. Like they finally made him super interesting, right? They put him on front. He gets to show the personality or lack thereof, and just bang.
A lot of tunnel vision with that dude.
Dead.
Yep.
Bummer, dude. Absolute bummer. I get why they did it because they need to build Kingpin up as actual positive light as mayor.
Sure.
I just wish that was not the candle that they burned out.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, that's a good initial take, and we'll delve even deeper here shortly. For me, my initial response here is, listen, I'm so glad that these characters are back with us. Overall, that was 100% a joy. So this is my critiques. The negatives I'm going to share are not in any way a lament to, I'm so bummed that they brought it back and it sucks. Not the case. There were some strengths and there were some obvious flaws here as well. I would guess it feels to me like there was some very real residue from the initial refreshing effort of this show. And what I mean by that more specifically is there was a change in the middle of production of showrunners, and by all accounts, along with that change in showrunners, a not small change in the tone and the story. I mean, truly every element outside of the characters of the show. And I think we felt that in a couple different spots and then some in some pretty telling ways. Overall, the show works. Its strengths outweigh its weaknesses. And again, just so glad to have the show back. But I certainly resonate and agree with what you said of, listen, we want more Daredevil. We want more Kingpin. And that's a tough balance, particularly when you're in this long form storytelling. A 2-hour and change movie, you can lean really heavily into the masked version, or in the case Kingpin, just unmasked. But in a 9-episode, you're right around 8 hours of content. Okay, yep, you can't just have 8 hours of action scenes or 7 hours of action scenes. So there is certainly a balance to be struck there with the fleshing out of the character. There's a lot of opportunity there as well, but I understand the challenge. And I would say that there were certainly, if there's the strongest critique we can probably push towards this show, is it got out of balance with how little Daredevil we saw at times, and as little Kingpin as we saw at times. So there's the broad take. Again, so glad to have it back. Let's start on the positive side. What did we really love about this season of Born Again? What
all the fight scenes were fantastic.
Very
by
good
the way.
Point.
Fantastic.
Very good point.
Yep. They just need to pair Frank and Daredevil up for the entirety of the show.
Always.
Their dynamic is phenomenal. First of all, that when they first meet up in the show.
Correct. Yep, episode 4.
That needs to be nominated for an Emmy.
That Sic Semper Systema episode.
Those two talking needs to be nominated for an Emmy. Because my lord, the way they're talking to each other, and Frank just knows how to get to him in a good way, not like a bad way. Got him to hit him, like get some rage out. It was just perfect. Those scenes together.
Yeah.
Then to get him to come back, because you're like, oh man, I hope that's not the only time we see Frank. Frank gets cleaned up.
Through 8 episodes, it was.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely concerned as well. Like, you're kidding me, right? That's all we're going to get of our guy, Frank Castle? No, I was wrong.
Yeah, you were.
And I was delighted to be mistaken.
I'm about to say, him coming into the house or being at Matt's apartment.
Yep.
That's like, oh, how long have you been here? Oh. And just watching those two go back and forth is, it's artwork. It's art. Put those two together forever.
Yep.
They are so good together.
Yep.
I can't wait for the second half season 2, technically.
Right.
Because I think we are going to be getting more of him. So this might be like Punisher season 3.
Sure.
Because I think we're going to get a lot of Frank, especially that end credit scene. Watching him, I was like, first of all, don't shake his hand. That's a rookie mistake. I could have told you that was not going to be good.
Incredible. And we're all yelling at the screen, don't do it, but do it.
Exactly. And watch him break the hand and then the arm. And that's just how
limbs aren't
ends.
Supposed to bend that direction.
No. So that was probably the most positive thing out of all of it. I will say Daredevil versus Muse was very entertaining. They Kingpin and Daredevil kind of away from each other.
Very much so.
Which
very little time together.
Liked a little bit. I mean, they did come and cross paths with each other here and there.
Yeah.
But it worked that way. And I think keeping them apart just means when they come together this next time around, it's going to be throwing hands, if you will.
Yeah.
Bullseye.
That's a good observation.
I would have loved more of him. His scenes were still great.
Right.
Like him breaking out, gnarly. So I am excited to see where he goes. Let's hope we get a full comic accurate costume. I'm
Still
ready.
Haven't had it yet.
I am ready for it though. It's time. It's time. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yep.
I'm excited. I think
we're trending that direction.
I think season 2 is going to open the door to a lot more opportunities.
Sure.
I think we're just getting into a little bit of the surface here. So I am excited. I think all those characters have been great. Heather, Dime. Okay. I don't know how that blind man does it. I don't know. You know, I'm like Foggy sitting back there. It's like, he has to see something because they always attractive.
Yeah.
Foggy.
Yep. If I recall correctly, in the not good Ben Affleck led Daredevil movie, does Jon Favreau play Foggy Nelson?
I think so.
I think I'm right. Yes, he does.
Yes.
It's Jon Favreau who, when the character of Elektra crosses paths with Matt, played by Jennifer Garner, of course, and Jon Favreau's Foggy Nelson goes, "How are they always attractive, Matt? Like, how are you doing this? This is ridiculous."
So that's just a thing for Foggy. Just like, how are you pulling this off?
It's like the one redeeming quality of that movie.
It's like, why am I not blind? You know? Like, is that what I have to give up?
Tell you what, you go for you, and I'll let you know how it's working out.
It won't work. I can already tell you. Yeah. It wont work. Yeah. But,
those are some great positives.
And she was actually, and it wasn't, she served a purpose.
Correct.
And and that was a good purpose. And it was nice to see.
She had a really well-developed character.
Yes. And we had Ben Ulrich's niece.
Yep.
Kind of take on his role, which was also kind of refreshing. Not something I was expecting to see.
Yeah.
But really cool that she's like, I'm still going to expose all of you. So, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that element is I think needed, and we'll run through some of the character cast list here shortly. But I love those positives, like, because you're absolutely right. The action scenes, every single one of them worked well. Whether it was Daredevil and Muse, whether it's Daredevil and Bullseye, whether it was Frank being Frank, whether it was Kingpin just being a bear amongst normal people.
That skull crush will live in my head for a while.
Yep. That's never getting out.
Might be top 5 gruesome deaths in a comic book thing.
Oh my!
That's up there, dude. That's up there.
Yep.
Great scene with him in heads, by the way. Because he smashed that one guy's head in the car door.
Season 1 of the Daredevil show. Yep. He knows. He knows what kills you.
Yeah.
He knows how to really get the job done, and he's not wrong. Killed his dad by hitting him in the head with the hammer. Yeah. He goes for the dome. Yep. He's not a legs first guy. It's
because he has a big head.
You know what? Good point. He's just a cue ball, just an orange on a toothpick right there. The action scenes were terrific. I thought the show as a whole, there was not a single actor or actress that stood out in a negative way. As far as this is tough. It was the performances across the board were really solid. The show looked gorgeous. So I thought the color palette was outstanding. I loved your observation about how Matt and Fisk spend almost the entire show apart from one another. And the reason that's really worthwhile is when they're in the same space, they're not going to let each other grow. It's fighting time. Like there's no, we're in each other's space and we're not fighting. There's just automatic conflict. And so to separate them means there's going to be development that happens. And for Fisk, he's like just a big fat weed in a white suit where he just grows exponentially quickly and selfishly and aggressively. So that was every scene with Wilson Fisk was time well spent. I don't think they ever put his character or presented his character in a way that was ill-fitting. For example, when he, as mayor, is in the schoolroom listening to the choir, and you can just tell it's like he hates this. He hates his life right now. Even that was a good representation of who Wilson Fisk is. And so when those kinds of scenes can work, that helps now Wilson Fisk is unveiling the violent side of his nature. It makes those scenes that much more impactful because you can just see it boiling underneath the surface. And part of what makes him such a phenomenal villain, obviously he has the physical presence, but it's the just nefarious cleverness that he has at his disposal. He is legitimately thinking steps ahead of everybody else. He is one creative bad dude.
And his plan here, brilliant.
Correct.
Great plan.
Correct.
Hey, we found a part of the city of New York that is not under any government jurisdiction. Yep. We can do whatever we want and not be arrested.
That was one of the strongest moments of the show when, in the last episode, it finally tied back to Foggy's death in the first episode in a meaningful way that helped give some more merit to why would Foggy die? Because it's too easy when that scene, when that's what kicks off the show, and I'm bouncing around a little bit here, but when that's what kicks off the show, it feels a little too much at times. Like, are we just trying to get rid of Foggy and Karen? Like, just get them out of the picture so we can spend time with other characters. That was really necessary and quality storytelling in the end to give some value to Foggy's death, right? It's not just hey, Vanessa wanted Bullseye to kill him because. It's like, yeah, that works, but it's not anything uniquely nefarious. The fact that there was an unintentional Foggy was going to reveal what the Fisks had previously discovered and kept under wraps without Foggy realizing that, he's exposing the Fisks here. He's just really looking at his case in its silo. That was quality. That was well done. You thought that one through from a storytelling perspective. Trying to think of other outstanding positives. Go ahead.
Do you think it's weird that he didn't get mad at Vanessa for killing Foggy because of his connections to Matt?
I mean, Fisk not getting mad at Vanessa? Yeah. I don't think Fisk minds killing anybody.
Yeah,
you killed that okay.
I
probably would have preferred they would have stayed alive, but okay.
Part of me was like, would you be mad? Wouldn't you be a little irritated? You're like, why would we piss off the one guy that's beat me 3 times? I
think he just wants an excuse for Matt to fight him so that he can beat on Matt. Because he still thinks he can beat Matt. He's not afraid of him.
That's true.
He probably should be a little
I just had that thought.
That's a good thought. All right, those are some great highlights. Let's spend a little time in Negative Town. What was meh, or what were we doing there? Listen, I'll go first. My biggest beef, again, first 5 minutes of the show. All right, Bullseye gets chucked off the roof and hits the ground, and isn't dead. Okay, all right. Is he gonna be like super badly hurt? Not really. Help me understand this.
Just curious to see how he survived that.
There needed to be, and yes, there's a season 2, so could we still get the explanation? Sure. But it should happen in this season. Even if we get an explanation in season 2, it's like, you don't need to take that long. That doesn't need to take a long time to help us understand how on earth he survived that. Because that's just ridiculous. Like, you can't survive that. At best, you're in a wheelchair. You're not walking around. So that sticks in my craw a bit. That just feels sloppy. It feels like they're asking us to just turn our brains mostly off and go, no, but you see, Matt's trying to kill him. That's what the takeaway is. Okay, except he didn't kill him, and that needs to be addressed. It's like, yeah, message received, but that was, why are you asking us to ignore that giant question? So that was a big beef for me. I have others, but let's start there. What about you?
I kind of talked about mine already with Muse.
Yep.
Muse being killed off was kind of the bummer for me.
No question. No question.
So that's kind of where my beef ends, and then
was it really necessary? Like, did he have to die?
No,
I don't think so either.
There was definitely still story to tell there. I felt like because I think to me they rushed his ending. Like that could have happened in episode 7 or 8, and it would have been okay. Like, you could have picked a different vigilante to take out, or, fake that vigilante and leave him still on the board to get behind it. Get a stand-in, if you will.
I don't understand why, to what storytelling benefit there was to remove Muse from Daredevil's lexicon here. I mean, we know Fisk is an ever-present menace, but if we're going to continue to get Daredevil content, not just in this Born Again context, but in future shows, like you want to flesh out the guy's rogues gallery. Like, we've introduced Bullseye. Fisk is the most well-established. What are we in a hurry for killing Muse off? He's phenomenal as a villain. He's gross. That always helps. He's effective. That's really important. He can go fisticuffs with Daredevil and give him a hard time. He is just super deadly, super convicted. Like, the extreme bad guys fit so well with the Daredevil.
True.
The Daredevil character. So it just seemed like such a waste. And for me, like, it was the third, what? We just killed that character in the show? That was one too many. I think you get 1 to 2 of those in a show. When you cross that line, you went Foggy, White Tiger, who we haven't referenced at all yet, and then Muse. It's like, come on. Now it just feels like we're being wasteful here.
Yeah.
That was my feeling.
And that's where I can get behind White Tiger dying.
Yep.
But if you're going to kill White Tiger, you should have kept Muse.
Correct.
So it's either that or keep White Tiger. Because I feel like they both provide the same point. Like, you killed a vigilante.
Yep.
Either way. So maybe you get more creative with killing the White Tiger to the point where it's like, oh, dang. Like, maybe it is okay that this cop killer is no longer running the streets. Yeah. So you kind of beat a dead horse by killing Muse as well at that point. And it would have been just better if that would have been a harder... It would have been better if he was running from Fisk as well.
Sure.
Essentially.
Sure.
Like, knowing, okay, maybe not everybody Fisk is trying to take off the board is a bad thing to take off the board.
Yep. And the one little thread of the mulligan that they can have here is there is a very easy path to bring White Tiger back, because
they will.
And so, okay, you removed that particular version of the character, but Hector Ayala's niece, and I'm forgetting her first name now, but pretty likely that we're going to see her in the White Tiger suit, and that's a comics pull there as well. But it's still And I think from a storytelling perspective, the screenwriters would probably tell us, well, we wanted Fisk to have a way to gain leverage over Heather, right? Because she's not publicly held responsible for killing Muse. Fisk is saying, no, the task force killed Muse, and Heather's going along with that narrative. And so I think that's the rationale behind why are we having her kill Muse in particular. Again, it still feels wasteful. I would have been strongly okay with Muse having much more time.
Quick shout out to the White Tiger actor too. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He nailed it. It's a bummer that he passed away, but
yep.
What?
No question.
I mean, what a role to end on.
Yeah.
If that was the
Crushed
final
it,
role.
didn't he?
Yes, he did. So props to you, sir, for that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he was outstanding. I'm trying to pull up the
his actual name
cast list because he was not able to be obviously in very many episodes. So bear with me. Okay, while I'm digging here, give me another negative.
Negative.
If there was one, if not, that's okay.
I think I've got it covered because we went over Muse. Yep. We went over kind of the slow burn of getting Daredevil back into the suit.
Yep.
Here's a bummer that I just thought of. We only saw one suit, and they hinted at 5 different ones.
Yeah.
Bring out the black. All right, I'm ready to go. All right, if you're going to war, Daredevil, if you're going to war, you can't wear the red. You gotta wear the black so they know you're serious and your business. Because what were you wearing in seasons 1 and 3 when you meant business? You were wearing black, baby. So go back to it. I would love it.
Yep.
Some Shadowland vibes. Maybe not as aggressive because he was not a very good guy in the Shadowlands, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Yeah, he has some
leading the hand.
Legit dark.
Yes.
Legit dark times there for our guy Matt.
So maybe not that dark.
Yep. Okay, our guy Kamar de los Reyes was Hector Ayala. So R.I.P. my guy. Yep. Well done. You crushed it.
There you go.
We'll be missing you. Yeah. The one bit of fluff that certainly existed here was the whole episode. It was episode 5 with interest in the bank. It was like, you're just putting this episode together to try and like make it very obvious to us that you're tying this into the MCU and that you want us to remember Ms. Marvel, I guess.
Here's the deal.
That was a tough episode. And it was right in the middle. Everything before, everything after. Much better. That was the clear low point for me of the whole show. It was like that episode didn't need to exist at all.
Here's the deal. If you look at it as a standalone by itself, great episode. Okay? Now hear me out. Like if it were like a special, if you were like a holiday, like, hey, here's a fun little spin on how Kamala met Matt. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's where that sits. It is a very weird break in the show for Matt. By the way, though, I love that Irish guy that led it. He was awesome. Okay, and the fact of watching Matt just bust his leg clean, crazy. All right.
Yeah. Wow. I had forgotten about that breakage. That was,
it was gnarly. But that fight between those two, gnarly.
Yep.
It did feel weird though.
Good.
It felt like it was a weird placement. Didn't really fit in this season of Daredevil.
Yep.
Probably wouldn't have fit in Daredevil at all, really, unless maybe it was like an opening scene, but it didn't need to be a full episode. So that's where I was at with that. It as a standalone, like special, like, hey, Matt's just doing cool stuff.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Not bad. But yes, together, it's a weird break in the story for sure.
No,
that's the whole episode.
That's reasonable. Yeah, it was. I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be more payoff for the whole show, and it was. Your point is made and received. That's fair.
And we never figured out why they wanted the diamond so bad. Correct?
I think it was just for its value to try and pay off that debt. But I digress. I already care about it so little. I don't want to. I don't even want to know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
A couple other highlights. Like, it's great to have Karen Page back. So, love seeing Deborah Ann Wool out there. She continues to crush that role. So well done on her part. Some new characters that we were introduced to in this season that I thought were also highlights. Michael Gandolfini as Daniel Blake, the young, ambitious, eventual like right-hand man of sorts to Kingpin.
Ah, that guy. His name is Daniel.
Yep. He was
didn't remember that. But he's good.
Boy, he was appropriately greasy. Like I got some real Penguin vibes from that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good comp.
Thank you. I thought he was outstanding. Artie, why go with Artie? Interesting. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Artie Roshan as Buck.
I loved him. He's awesome.
He was like, that was a good fit.
Yeah, he needed an uptight white guy to replace the one that died in the first
the one
season.
that Karen killed. Yeah. Wesley, who Karen just blew away. No, but Kingpin does. He needs that character that can live in both worlds for Kingpin. Both live in the surface level, healthy, gosh, I'm struggling with the word here. It's the right facade, right? Looks shiny, nice to look at, but then can break into the dark side pretty easily, quickly, and effectively. So Buck was great. Sorry, not a new character here, but nonetheless, do need to give it a shout out to Ayelet Zurer as Vanessa Fisk. She's terrific.
Yeah.
She is tremendous. The character of Vanessa, there's a highlight that I have yet to give full props to. They have really turned her savage, and in a effective and organic, not forced at all way. Like, this is who she is at her best in the comics. She's a freaking force of her own to be reckoned with. That was really rewarding to see come to life. I thought that was outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she steps up into the role. She's kind of Kingpin herself.
Yep.
For a while there.
Yep. And with, of course, Karen and Foggy being absent from Matt's life for the almost entirety of this particular season, I thought the characters of Kirsten and Cherry filled in really well as the Karen and Foggy of sorts of this particular season. So they were both really worth their screen time as well. So again, a lot of strong performances across the board. No weak spots there. Here's the last qualm I have, because I thought of it and I just have to get it out. It's great that Kingpin is mayor for the sake of the story. Boy, did they microwave how he got to be mayor. Like, that was really quick. That was not, from a storytelling perspective, that was done hastily. It was just he's mayor. It's like he's running and he's in. It's like, no. What? Did everybody just forget what a just awful person he is? Interesting. Now, do we all want him to be in that role? Does it work? Is it effective? Of course it is. I just wish they would have taken an episode and a half or 2 episodes, not just the first episode of the season to rush him up there. So there you go.
Fair enough.
All right. What questions do we have coming out of this season, heading into round 2?
I think the most important thing that we have to talk about at the end of this series, or the end of this season.
Yes.
Who is Matt recruiting for war?
Yep.
Because we have
Correct.
little
That
to
is the key
know.
question.
We have some cops. We have Cherry.
I mean, real quick, when he said we need an army, did you not go, dude, you got no army? Like, who?
I was like,
that was kind of my reaction. Like, well, then you're in trouble.
Well,
there's no one.
I start going through the people that make sense. Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm trying not to get my hopes up with it because it could be very oh, okay, here's Punisher, right?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Punisher's great. He's a
one-man army.
He is a one-man army.
So that helps.
But we saw him get his ass kicked towards the end there because he needs help. All right, it can't just be him.
Can't just be 1 against 20. You're eventually gonna take 12 of them down, but there's still 8 more guys to sit on you.
I just don't want to be bummed out if the people he goes to war with suck. Okay, so I'm going to shoot for the moon, and then we can dial it in to the most logical people. I want Spider-Man so damn bad for season 2.
I know.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
All right. They need to figure it out with Sony.
Yeah.
Tom Holland for this next season would be perfect.
Yep.
Okay. He's just a vigilante now. Nobody knows who he is. You think he'd be a prime target for Kingpin to be like, I hate that Spider-Man guy. He's getting in my way. Spider-Man is perfect for this. This is where you hinted at it in the Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, that Matt is present. All right. Give me what I want. That's the most, that would be a beautiful pull. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to dial it in a little bit. I think the Defenders make sense here. Mm-hmm. I think Luke Cage. I think Jessica Jones.
There was a part of me that thought that's who we were going to see in Josie's bar was Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist.
That'd be sick.
That would have been...
I'd be like, okay.
I don't think I would have been able to have arrived to podcast today. I would still be on the floor going, you are kidding. I'm trying to recover from this.
I think they would bring back Jessica and Luke, actors and actresses. Mm-hmm. I would be curious to see if they keep Iron Fists or if they recast him because he did not go over well.
He was received well.
And I don't think that's his fault.
Agreed.
So I think you could give him another shot.
Yep.
And that could work. So we have those options. I think Elektra is a shoe-in at this point. Not that I want to see her.
Yep.
But I think she makes too much sense.
Yep.
Stick is what happened to Stick?
Stick
is
Electra
dead.
Killed Stick.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
I love that old fart.
I know it. It was in the Defenders show.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Daredevil. It wasn't Daredevil season 2 or 3. It was the Defenders between seasons 2 and 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah. So those are the obvious ones. But other than that, like,
I would guess Echo might.
Echo.
Right?
Echo's a decent pull, I guess.
It would be.
It makes sense.
Yep. I'll fly that flag for Echo here.
She-Hulk?
Nope. Incorrect.
Look, I'm not saying that's who I want.
I don't even think there's.
No. I'm only saying that because they legitimately hooked up as well.
Yeah.
But
they've tossed it out to sea. That's not happening.
So I think the Defenders make a perfect shoe-in candidate. I would love to see in the second season highlighting other vigilantes that Wilson is going after.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that would be perfect because that really builds out that story.
Yeah.
Of it. Oh, this is more than just Matt. Let Matt take the lead. Matt needs to be the lead here. He's perfect for this.
Correct.
Streets of New York. But my lord, dude, you need Spider-Man. This is the time. This is the time you pull the trigger. Yeah. He fits so well.
And most importantly, and this is what you're saying, it makes all the sense from a storytelling perspective as far as where the current trajectories of Daredevil and Spider-Man are. They are in alignment because we went from Spider-Man being introduced on a immediately like global multiversal scale to being brought all the way down to the bare bones street level, which is where Daredevil lives in a time of crisis. This is a seemingly perfect conjunction. I don't think we're going to get it.
No, I don't think so either.
Which I know you know too.
Sony sucks.
Yep. And you're absolutely right. This would be the perfect time to bring him in. The Defenders should have worked. And I think that there is too much opportunity with that group as that set of street level heroes. I think that would be a very welcome, yes, let's refresh that cast. There's not a single one of them that I go, no, thank you. It's like, no, I would enjoy each and every one of those individuals again. So this is a quote from head of Marvel TV, Brad Winderbaum, okay, speaking in regards to the future of the Daredevil show. And he says, the plan, and I'm going to go a little off script here, plan is for season 2 of Born Again to be released in March of next year.
Amen.
Yep. We're winning. And they want to do season 3 and beyond year after year. So Brad Winderbaum speaking here says that's the plan. Season 2 will come out next year, and then hopefully season 3 and season infinity after that. I think this world is extremely rich, and there are many stories to be told on the streets of New York. And Rand, I'm sorry, I call him Brand, with an N, continues here. It's certainly something very fundamental to Marvel, going back to the earliest days of publishing with Stan and Jack and Steve and the original Marvel bullpen. It's New York through New York, and the fact that we're able to shoot here and tell a story about New York made by New Yorkers is just fundamental to the series. That's from an article published on Forbes.com.
Well, do you know who the ultimate New Yorker is?
Freaking Spider-Man, man.
Spider-Man.
Yep. And of course, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko are the Stan, Jack, and Steve being referenced there by our guy, Brand. So maybe the best, and you're absolutely right, that is the question. Who's the army that Matt is going to be able to assemble? It's an important question. The other question that I have is, where on earth will the character of Kingpin be at the end of season 2? I don't think there's any question that he will not be able to still be mayor. I wonder how many times can that guy be torn down just to come back up, right? And I say that because I don't want to lose the character of Kingpin.
No, we can't.
No, and so I don't want him to get incarcerated again. So I'm just curious, like, how are they going to thread this needle of no longer mayor, but still a crime lord with influence? That's where they have to end up somehow. I think it's going to be tricky because in a lot of ways, Mayor Kingpin is pinnacle of Kingpin's arc. So that's going to be a tough little landing to hit there.
It will be curious to see how long he lasts at the top. Because technically, was he just a businessman in the first couple of seasons?
Correct.
He was just known as a businessman.
Very behind the scenes. Like, he was not someone that the public of New York would even have been aware of.
Right.
He was intentionally very subtle in his appearances.
Yeah, and he won't be able to be subtle after that anymore. He took all the subtlety away.
Correct. That is gone. Subtlety, no mas. No bueno. Yep. Listen, the last thing I think I'll say on this front in regards to the show is you hope, and this hope was realized, that when a refreshing of a set of characters is presented, that it does enough right to warrant additional content moving forward. And we certainly got that from this series. It's not perfect. It's strong. The weaknesses are annoying, but we can live with them. And I think there's still opportunity to resolve some of those weaknesses or excuse-me's that took place. But overall, my gosh, it's just so much fun watching Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk, watching Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, watching our guy, oh my gosh, John Bernthal as Frank Castle.
I could watch him be Frank Castle for the end of time.
He's just freaking Frank Castle.
It's perfect casting.
He doesn't have to act. He's just, John, just listen, put on this vest, big skull on it.
And you can just tell he has so much fun.
How can you not? How can you not? And again, kudos to the entire cast. Each member, truly, I was really impressed. There was not a weak link in the bunch. So great to have back. Thank you, Marvel. You got this one right. Thanks for bringing it back. Super fun.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on that?
No,
my guy?
I do not. We are at 48 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, we got to keep cooking, don't we?
So well, here's the deal. We can save the Fantastic Four trailer for next episode.
Sure.
And then go straight into top 5. Well, Galactus just fell.
Wow. Okay, we better talk about it. He's going to come and eat the Earth. We don't have to spend a ton of time on it. Let's hit it because it's timely enough to do so.
Let's do it.
So, Fantastic Four First Steps dropped its second overall trailer, first full length, if you will, trailer. So we got to see obviously more of each character. We got the confirmation that Susan Richards is indeed pregnant with what we will know to be, or who we will know to be, as Franklin Richards. That was a rumor that was just confirmed.
They did confirm Franklin. They didn't confirm Val.
Franklin is the older of the two.
Oh, Franklin is the older one.
Yep.
Why did I think Valerie was the older one?
Well, personality-wise, like Franklin is a lot less mature than Val,
Right.
even though he's older.
Oh, maybe that's
like
why.
Val is a much more like pragmatic, sterile, black and white. And sterile sounds like a mean word, but she's just very calculated in how she evaluates issues. And Franklin he's honestly like more like Johnny. You would imagine him being as a youth, but let's just go. Let's just do it. Yeah, YOLO. Let's do this. Let's tango. So I think that's why there's that hang up, because I share it with you. Beans, what were some highlights for you coming out of this trailer?
It's nice to see how these guys are presented in their world, because they have toys, they have merch.
Yep.
They are
popular heroes.
They are
highly known and beloved,
highly regarded.
Yes.
And it's a nice little change of pace, because they are a family. You see them grouping together. It's a little bit different than the Avengers dynamic, where it's a bunch of different people that group up for a common threat. Like, these are legitimate poster 1960s heroes, essentially.
Yep.
We have boots on the ground with Galactus.
Ooh, big boots.
I'm glad we got nothing with him too.
Right?
I'm glad.
We're just getting teases. We're still getting the shadow, the feet.
The only thing I would have loved here to add to this trailer would just be his voice.
Yeah, totally agree.
Galactus is coming.
Totally agree.
Like that. And you're just like, oh!
Yep.
So, I'm glad to see some of the power sets this time around, because we didn't see Mr. Fantastic stretch whatsoever in the teaser.
No stretch.
So to see him actually in action looks good.
Yep.
The Thing, obviously, we saw him cooking and stuff in the first one, but now we're seeing him in actual motion here, lifting up the car for a bunch of kids because they just asked him to.
Like which one? The green one?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm vibing with it.
Yep.
Human Torch. We actually did get to see him flame on.
There we go.
Perfect. It looks good.
Yep.
I told you I'm not sold on the cast as a whole. So, I think,
again, fair.
I think that will change when I watch the movie. Because to me, I told you it feels like it's a knockoff cast. Okay? It just does to me. So, and I think it's a nod more to the original movie that I had growing up with, because that was brilliantly cast. So you could make the argument that the Invisible Woman was the weakest link, and now we're in a different time where I think she's probably the strongest.
Correct.
Out of the four.
Totally agree.
So it's a weird swap in that sense.
Yeah.
So I think it'll just come with time and seeing the movie to actually get a full judgment. I will wait to make that.
Yep.
So
you're coming at that from a really healthy place, I think.
Silver Surfer. We did get
got a lot of Silver Surfer in this trailer after none of Silver Surfer in previous trailer.
I still think I'm with the original. I think the original one looks well. No, I mean like even just from the shininess in the look of the first one, I think looks better. I think this one. I think this current one's a little too detailed in the face.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Okay. I see. Yeah, I'm reflecting back on that Fantastic Four. It was the second Fantastic Four movie, and was it Rise of the Silver Surfer? I think was the title. I see your point. I see where you're coming from there. Okay.
It's a little too detailed. I would like it a little bit more smooth.
Voiced by the immaculate Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah. Oh, that's who voiced Silver Surfer? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know the guy from Smallville, Lex Luthor, was the body, correct?
Oh gosh, I actually don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he's the body.
That would make sense.
So, yeah,
Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm like, again, I think it'll be fine. We got no hint of Doctor Doom in this. No hint.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see if he even has a role in this movie.
Yeah.
And because it's got to be RDJ, right? Is it RDJ's Doom, you think? We don't know?
We genuinely do not.
So I'm curious to see how Victor plays into this, if at all, because it will feel weird if he's absent with how connected he is to the Four. So.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to say. It's
a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good and a bad thing, for sure.
I think we can have a great Fantastic Four movie, particularly first movie without Doom having a role of any prominence.
I agree.
And you can't continue to make Fantastic Four movies without Doom being involved in some capacity. Right. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but the specter of Doom is always present for the Fantastic Four, for Reed in particular, but therefore for the entire Fantastic Four as well.
I'm also hoping we get to see some of their former triumphs, if you will, just because of how well regarded these people are.
Yep, how well established.
I kind of want to see. It would be cool to have one little clip of Mr. Fantastic punching Mole Man in the face.
I was just gonna say Mole Man.
Mole Man's a perfect one to just, you don't have to kill, but you can keep him around to come back, right? Yeah. He would be a good one to just pull out.
Right. Right.
Some other Fantastic Four villains.
Oh gosh, Mole Man,
the Wizard.
Namor is always, he's another one of those, not villains per se, but the anti-hero that has plenty of both collaboration and conflict with the Fantastic Four. But no, the Wizard.
The Wizard has a very punchable face. I feel like that's a good one to just be like, we beat that guy.
Extremely. Where it gets a little weird, but Nihilus in the negative zone.
See, I don't want that one.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm like, don't show. You need to get some of the campy 1960s villains. Mole Man and the Wizard are perfect for that. Those big enough triumphs.
Yeah, no question.
Where the public be like, these guys.
Yeah. I think we're going to enjoy the heck out of Reed and Sue being established as a married couple.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a great spot to pick up their character arcs from. I'm calling it right now. You're going to love the cast. Where you're at is perfectly fine. Stay there because it's just going to allow your modest expectations to be delightfully exceeded. But there is no question that Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, she's at the top right there. She's an absolute stud. So pretty phenomenal casting. I think you are right in that, hey, this is a alternative casting of sorts, and in a quite literal way, we're getting the alternate universe version of these characters. So there's some element of that makes sense. But the more that we see them, the more I think they're not going to feel like an alternate universe set of these characters. It's going to feel like, no, this is our universe's Fantastic Four. I think Joseph Quinn's going to be an absolute delight. Ibon Masbachrach is going to be wonderful as Ben Grimm. Pedro Pascal's the one that's going to have to grow on me. I love Pedro. Love him. It just is going to feel, the one that's going to take the longest for me to get used to as his particular character.
Again, and for me, it's not that I have a problem with any of the actors or actresses. It's just like, this just doesn't seem like it was the fit. It feels like you took a puzzle piece and tried to fit it into a hole that it didn't fit into.
Yep. Still agree with that. I do. I love that they didn't show us too much. They showed us more. The point of a trailer is to create two things: awareness, so that you actually know the movie exists, and then interest, going, I want to go see that.
Yep.
That's it. You don't have to give away significant elements of the story in order for me to come see this movie, or for anybody to come see this movie. You just have to let us know, when's it coming out? We'll be there. So just gets me that much more excited for the summer. We're getting closer and closer every day. It's going to be a blast with Superman and Fantastic Four coming out on back-to-back weekends. Whoa, what fun that's going to be.
Wait, we're going to be busy.
Yeah, in the best of ways.
It's going to be awesome.
In the best of ways. All right. It is time, without further ado, to get into another classic. JP and the Beans Top 5. Today's Top 5 in the theme of Daredevil are going to be where we share with you, dear listener, our top 5 moments in Daredevil show history. So that's right, not just from Born Again, but from seasons 1, 2, 3, and I think we just have to call this season 4 now, really?
I would. It's dumb to call them two separate series.
Correct. It is a cohesive series and story. So without further ado, Beans, you go first.
All right, my number 5 for Daredevil scenes or Daredevil moments.
Yep.
I have the opening scene from the show, the first episode where he's sitting in the Catholic Church confessional, and the preacher, he's talking to this preacher, and he's like confessing all of his sins.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the preacher's like, what did you do? And he's like, I'm not asking for forgiveness for what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking for forgiveness for what I'm about to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it just goes straight to him on the docks,
Yep.
breaking tons of legs and arms, and it is just brutal.
Yep.
And it sets the tone for the entire show.
Right.
That is one thing that was missing from this season is the lack of him in the church.
Yep.
Like I believe there might have been maybe one scene.
There was a scene in the second or third episode where it was Matt praying. He was reflecting on Foggy's death. I think I'm remembering that.
Yeah,
I think it was episode 2.
That's what it was. He was praying, but it was not at the church. It was in his apartment. Yes.
Yeah, I think, and I might even be wrong. It might have been episode 1.
I thought it was even deeper because he was with he was with Heather.
Okay,
at the time, so I want to say it was like episode 5.
Gotcha. But
6.
to your point, that is more critical here is correct. There was a lack of that.
I would have liked to see because that's one of the most interesting parts of Daredevil is his faith. Yep. So that's my number 5.
That's fantastic. I love that. My number 5 is what I'm calling Matt and Bullseye's opening salvo in this most recent of seasons, season 4. That was a tremendous fight scene. The tension, of course, is enormous, especially the first time you watch it, right? Because you're going, oh, Foggy just got taken out. But Bullseye reintroduces himself to us in a ferocious manner. And the number of hits both of these guys take throughout their duel is outrageous. By the time the battle concludes, I mean, good Lord, Matt has a not small number of pointy objects pinned inside his person. Like, it is tough. He has been hit and hit hard many a time. He gets and gains the upper hand, but what a battle that was. The one-shot element was a lot of fun. Was it a true one-shot? No, but it worked. So the intensity, the tone, the skill behind the fighting between both these characters, it was just visual magic.
I would hate fighting Bullseye.
Jeez.
I would absolutely hate it.
He's so annoying.
You're a human pushkin at the end of the day.
Yes.
Like, the amount of random objects you're pulling out of your body against Bullseye. No thanks, I'll pass.
Terrible. No thank you. No, hardest it passes. My number 4, and this is cheating a little bit, because yes, it is from the Daredevil show, but it does not feature Daredevil. It's season 2 of Daredevil when Frank breaks out of prison. And it's actually, as I reflect on that, as soon as I said that, I'm like, he doesn't actually totally break out at this point. Does he? Kingpin gives him a challenge, if you will, to work through. And Frank, I remember, is wearing like the white prison suit just to make how obvious it is, like all the blood that's on him as he deals with convict after convict. So no, it's probably not where he and I apologize.
No,
it's been so long since I've watched this season.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't break out. Is it Kingpin trying to kill him?
Kingpin's trying to take him off the board.
Gosh, that's what it is.
And so he gives that entire prison block.
Yeah.
He puts a hit out on the Punisher.
That's right.
And then he ends up stealing a shank.
Yep.
And then kills the guy with the shank.
And then he just goes nuts.
And then he snaps a broomstick in half and just annihilates the entire section. And then he's just staring at Kingpin, and Kingpin's like,
yeah, with just blood dripping from every
what did I do?
Yeah, I angered the wrong guy.
By the way, Kingpin sucks at trying to kill people in prison. He sucks at it.
He's not very good at it.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's my number 4. That scene was ferocious. That was Frank at his most Punisher.
It's so glorious.
Oh my gosh, it was incredible.
My number 4 is probably one of the most iconic fight scenes that's come out of Daredevil or superhero shows in general, to the point I think a lot of them now take this scene and try to up it, if you will. And I have that first hallway scene. That first hallway scene is so iconic. the way he's bouncing back and forth. You're seeing guys just get slammed out of nowhere from one doorway to another doorway.
Yep.
And it's just this beautifully fluid fight scene that instead of following it frame by frame, you're getting to see it in motion, and it just works so well.
Yeah.
That is my number 4.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a good scene.
Yes.
Such a good scene.
My number 3 was your number 4. Punisher in the prison ward, watching him kill all of those people. And at that point, if I'm Kingpin, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm like, okay, we're done. Like, I don't want to fight him after that. Not my pants are brown at this point. Okay? Like, I'm done. I'm out, dude. Okay, you win.
You win.
You win.
Congrats.
I would be giving you anything that you wanted to just keep you away from me moving forward. So that is my number 3.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. My number 3, again, Frank gets involved here. It's the scene that we referenced earlier in our Born Again breakdown where Matt and Frank are having words with each other in season 4. They just freaking crackle. Okay.
So good.
During that scene. It's tremendous. It gets somehow in a relatively brief amount of time down to the heart of each character and what both compels them and they have to do battle with internally. And it just reeks of why it is that we want these two characters on screen together as much as possible. That was some freaking high level acting on both of those, on both Charlie Cox and John Bernthal's part. That was an outstanding performance. Wasn't forced in the slightest. That's my number.
For reference, that is the first time they meet in season 4 that you're talking about.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I said it earlier. It deserves an Emmy nod for sure. It's just it's a brilliant scene.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. No question. My number 2 was your number 4, the hallway fight scene. It's for all the reasons you just laid out. Iconic. It's incredible. One of the things that I thought was so profound about it was you see the hero. You never see this in movies and shows. You never see the hero tired. Okay. But Matt, this is the end of what has been a grueling episode to begin with. And at more than one point, they're taking a guy down, just leans and sags against the wall, just exhausted from the effort that it's taking. And there is such a beautiful blend of what we both get to see as far as Matt duking it out with the bad guys, and Matt will then disappear into a side room. You'll hear things, so we don't actually get to see what's happening. But to your point, a body comes flying or a cabinet or a door. It's such visceral magic. And at the end, he's rescuing this little boy who's been kidnapped. And again, you just get to hear Matt talk through with the little boy, like, hey, it's okay. I'm here to help. You're going to be okay. And he emerges carrying the little dude. It's just a beautiful, beautiful scene. So that is my number 2.
My number 2 is Daredevil and Punisher on the roof. When he's got Daredevil chained to the chimney stack, and just watching those two, for everything that you said about season 4, this sets the tone for their relationship and the dynamic of killing and not killing and what's the right decision to make, because it is definitely a moral dilemma, and you see where the Punisher's coming from. You don't agree with it necessarily, but you can understand why he's like, why are we letting these people just back into the streets? 'Cause some of them...
They're going to do it again.
Yes. For the ones that are going to do it again.
Yeah.
And then Matt being like, hey, that's just... It's not our choice to make. So I genuinely enjoy that.
That's a good call.
Seeing them interacting. Him pretty much trying to put Matt in a situation where he has to kill as well. And he still finds a way around it. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2.
That's great. Your number 1.
My number 1.
Numero uno.
Season 3. Bullseye as Daredevil versus Daredevil. Their first fight. When I tell you, watching that scene for the first time, the creativity they had coming up with this scene, brilliant. I love watching Bullseye just pick up random office supplies and just bounce it off 3 different things and hit Matt in the shoulder. And you're like,
Right.
Matt's like, how did you even do that?
Right.
And to watch, and even with him in the Daredevil suit, just adds like to it a little bit.
Yes.
'Cause you're like,
yes,
dang, who's the real? Like, well, you
Right.
know who
Who's
the real one is, yeah. But
it's tough to tell at times during that fight scene.
So to watch Bullseye's skill set, and that's half the reason why he's able to get away with being a Daredevil copy.
Correct.
Right? But to also watch him kill in the suit, watching Matt probably go through one of his worst nightmares, watching that as like, oh, I'm watching, you know, Daredevil kill a bunch of people. And to build up on the fact that now he's a wanted criminal throughout New York. That scene's just brilliant. And it sets the tone for Bullseye as a villain. They do him so well in this show. It's insane.
No
so that's my number one.
It's great.
I could watch Bullseye and Daredevil fight till the end of time. And it would be brilliant.
Yeah. Season 3 of the Daredevil show to me is still just like peak television. It's incredible. My number one, also from season 3, a little bit later in that particular season. Bullseye's in the room at this point, but he has had his back harmed by Kingpin. He's laying on the ground, but Daredevil has taken Kingpin down to the point where Kingpin is just on his knees, bloodied, yelling, "Kill me, kill me." And Matt goes, "Bah, I want to, but I won't, because you don't get to destroy who I am." And then he just yells at him, "I beat you." It's like, that is such an intense scene. He's just dunking on Kingpin, saying, "I beat you. The city beat you. You don't get to destroy who I am." It's beautiful because Matt, to your point that you laid out so well, has had to watch what it would be like if Daredevil, him or someone else, were to kill others, what crossing that line would look like and how much that has to have torn him up. And so for him to be fully justified had he killed Kingpin and yet to still choose not to was just this beautiful calcification of the character of, that's right, he's not going to cross that line because he will follow his morals to the bitter end, for better or for worse. And that's one of the reasons why we love the character so freaking much. Great top 5, Beans.
Absolutely.
Well done. Well, it's great to have Daredevil back, isn't it?
Amen.
Holy smokes. Now we're just going to have to go back and watch all the seasons again. We got a little bit of time between now and March of 2026.
Hey, at least it's a year gap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could have been 2 years. It could have been 3 years. I will.
Agreed.
If I can wait a year. It took so long to get this one.
Yep.
I can wait a year. I'm a big boy. We got a lot of good stuff coming out.
A lot of positive momentum, I think.
We'll be good.
Yep, no question. Anything else for the good people, B?
We will save the Spider-Man stuff for next time.
Agreed. We got a lot of good news to get to, but there's another episode for that.
Absolutely.
You bet. Solomon, Dylan, you've outdone yourself.
Yes,
Thanks
you did
again,
good.
boys.
I give you crap from banking me bald, but they are good. So good
They're
work.
Outstanding. Great
I will
work.
find a spot for them somewhere. So, yes. On that note, God bless.
Peace.